WCS Challenger League, which feeds directly into Premier League, and that's it. There's no coherent leagues like you have in other sports.
Well, it's not even a coherent league as it is now, in my opinion. I absolutely think there needs to be some sort of structure that really builds from the bottom up, as opposed to right now, which is the top down. I absolutely believe there needs to be something. And if it has to be done outside of WCS, which I certainly believe that it can be done better, then it absolutely should be. I thought that Total Biscuit was going to champion that idea a little bit. Obviously he was putting a lot of time into what he was doing, and in the end he felt that his time wasn't worth it. But I don't know. Maybe
it's still an ongoing process.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of it if he needs more help. I know that there's plenty of people that would love to help and put their time and energy into it.
I loved what Total Biscuit and Jenna did with their American Grandmaster thing, but in the end, that was top of the league program. It wasn't lower league players. It was top 16, I think, Grandmaster players. So for lower league players, nothing.
Yeah.
And my question is more like, do we need something regular where lower league players can consistently climb a ladder, like go up a league? I mean, it's hard to put in the current ladder format, because you can't make something where, okay, here's the tournament for Gold League players, and that won't work. But something along the lines what you have in soccer or something, where you have Premier League, second division. I don't know what it's called in England.
No, you're exactly right. And I was going to post you something, and I can post it in our Skype channel. But it's an infographic for the organization I'm working with, which is the International Gaming League. It's still very much in the works. But my structure has always been very much like what you're talking about, where you're starting, maybe whatever. The way that I've structured is called Premier, Select, Main, and then Open. Open division is pretty much open to anyone, and the whole idea is to continue to be promoted to that top division. But if you don't have anything structured like that, then what incentive do people at the bottom have to continue to play? And then, of course, that's where I see that communities just kind of die off. But I absolutely agree that there has to be something like that.
Cool. I got a follow-up. Maybe two follow-up questions. Sorry. One follow-up question would be, what kind of role do teams play in this? I mean, this is in regard to things like the Complexity Academy, where they sign up-and-coming players with, I guess, without a real contract or something. Is that something that should be put more forward? Like, more teams should sign unknown players competing for lower championships, lower prizes?
I think they should, but I think that they need the structure in order to be able to put that together. I mean, if there's not tournaments that are being ran for that sort of thing, even if the teams are doing it on themselves, what does it matter? I mean, they're just doing it internally. So it'd be nice if there was more tournaments that were catering to those sorts of players, so that teams could then put together, academy type teams and compete in some of these things.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think it would be possible if, like, the 10 premier teams we know, each would open up a amateur division where they could fight for places or something, to gain interest? Like, you got the names of the big teams with unknown players to gather interest. Might that work?
I think that's a great idea. I'd like to see that well executed, but the problem you've got is a lot of gaming organizations, they treat the academy side of things not as an academy. Like, an academy to me is where you are a novice at something with potential. You're given support, you're nurtured, you're taught things, taught how to be better. For most gaming organizations, slapping .academy after a team means you don't have to pay them. or you can certainly give them a substandard deal compared to your main team. You identify the potential, you identify the hype, you identify a potential marketing opportunity, and they effectively exploit that. A lot of academy teams I've talked to, and this is across a range of games. You know, this includes HON teams, Counter-Strike teams, StarCraft 2 players who've been in academy setups. Often talk about how all they really get out of it is a shirt, a tag, and a little bit more presence within the kind of esports space, and generally they take nothing from it. You know, like they'll always tell you about how they weren't managed properly, they didn't even meet the team manager, things like this. So if it's going to be done, it needs to be done right. But I mean, it would have to come from the organizations being willing to invest the money, the time, and the personnel into it being worthwhile. I think the only way you would get gaming organizations to do that would be to have a league with prize money only for academy sides.
Right.
And it was vetted by like an esports person. Again, say it was a Blizzard thing. They would have to know who's actually of an academy level, i.e. you couldn't just stick Flash in and say, oh, he's my academy player, you know.
Right.
So, you know, so it would take a lot of work to do. It's viable, it's doable, but people are all about quick fixes in esports, so I don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. But it's a great idea, mate.
All right, buddy.
So-
That's gonna have to be it for questions. We got a lot of other people with questions, so
Okay.
appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, thanks.
Love your avatar
Hey.
too. I didn't realize Matt Damon's head segued into a penis so smoothly. So
Yeah, it looks very nice, doesn't it?
It does. I've been strangely hypnotized by it.
Oh shit.
The
All
more
right.
you
Chris,
know.
do we really have a lot of other questions?
How about one more? How about that? I know you gotta go. One more, cool.
Yes.
All right, we'll do one more here. And okay.
I hope that guy in Twitch TV chat's agreeing about Matt Damon's head and the penis. That'd be nice.
What?
So, someone's just wrote, I agree with Richard, but obviously as I'm seeing the chat, it was just as I was talking about Matt Damon's penis head. So it's like, it does segue quite nicely. It's...
Okay, so Robert wants to call. He's
I can't even get into the chat on Twitch TV right now.
yeah, it's a
Load
yeah,
for me.
for me too. It's
Must be a
kinda-
LOL game on.
No, it's
Is it?
something's going on. Yeah, I can't get on either.
Anyway, what's this question?
So Robert's calling in. He's one of my co-hosts on Pro Corner, and he's a sports psychologist that works with TLO and Rhett. So he wants to ask a question. See if he's around though.
Hello.
Robert, what's up, man?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad actually. Just listen to the show as usual.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Got a question for us?
Yeah, actually, it was to what Richard was saying earlier when he was talking about, well, there's so many things that people could talk about esports, but you can't really do it without burning someone. I'm just kind of wondering what kind of situation would the industry have to be in order for like an all-telling autobiography to come out where all the secrets would come out, or would the industry just not be able to handle it and collapse in on itself?
Okay, right. First of all, I mean, like the fact, right, the biggest problem all emanates from the fact that esports, it might look good and it might look shiny and it might look solid, but it's actually built on other people's charity. Like, it is effectively a series of charitable donations because, I mean, you know, not true altruistic charity, but charity all the same in the sense that it's marketing money and people are willing to throw enough shit at the wall and see if some sticks, if you want to pardon the crudity of the phrase. So that's what esports has got. Now, with that you can't have a culture of open honesty or anything where you're reliant on, like, say, for example, a guy gives you like $5,000 and he's an asshole and has unrealistic expectations and asks you to do ridiculous things. If you go public with what those expectations are, he's not coming back and he's not giving you that $5,000, which is great if you don't need it. But unfortunately in esports, everyone does need it. So we're all gonna, you know, keep suckling on the corporate teat, because if we don't, we all have to go back to the 9 to 5 fucking day job, which we all hate, which is why we're all trying to carve a career out in esports in the first place. So generally, when it comes to telling the truth, you have to absolutely wait until someone is fucked, like they are done. You know, they can't come back and bite you in the ass. And you see this quite a lot. Like, you see guys who are like really prominent and talk about being nice to people on the way up because of what happens on the way down. On the way down, everyone has a bite out of them. Everyone, like, tells you a little secret, a little anecdote. And, you know, you do that because that's the time you can. That's the, you know, they were always the same asshole, but now it's safe to talk about it because they probably won't be, you know, resurrecting from the grave and coming back to haunt you. So, I mean, look, is there some serious shit in esports going on right now? I mean, there definitely is, you know, take the Azubu issue and things like that. This is very important stuff where we actually, you know, I mean, I'm making a joke about it, like someone's sexual proclivities need to be talked about or whatever. But, you know, there's some serious stuff, like the Azubu thing. People need to investigate that. We need good investigative journalists, like people with no fear to out these companies that are doing very dodgy, dubious things, which is obviously going to bring us into the segue for next week's show, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But equally, you also need people who can kind of stand alone and just say, like, right, you know, these guys did this and it was wrong. These guys didn't pay this player, that was wrong. This tournament took a bunch of money and that was wrong. You know, things like, prime example, like ESEA running that Bitcoin mining software on their client. Where's that story now? Like, I called I've got a call actually with the lawyer, the attorney that is likely to bring a lawsuit against them. I've got a call with him tomorrow because I'm not letting that fucking story drop, because why the fuck should they get away with that? It's the most disgusting abuse of trust. You know, to take your paying customers, and to make them download malware for your own profit and hope to get away with it. It's horrendous. So, but people want to ride on the coattails of the drama. People don't want to be around to actually affect the change. So there's so much. I mean, but the first thing that would have to change is we need profitable businesses in esports. So it's like, you know, we need business that can do the, you know, let's suck the dick, let's fucking take the money and then invest it so I never have to suck the dick and take the money again. And now I can say what the fuck I want, and I can be an ambassador for esports and what esports needs. That's what we need to happen. But unfortunately, people are all about the quick fix. It's suck the dick. Oh, look, there's another dick. I'll go suck that one. And that's what's happening in esports. You know, it's too many dicks, too many mouths, and not enough people with, you know, strong opinions and backbones.
That good enough for you, Robert?
That pretty much makes sense. I like the analogy at the end.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of went wild. Like, I'm gonna get Chanman banned from Twitch TV. There'll have to be like an 18.
I already have the 18.
There already is.
He
put that on as soon as you joined the show.
I was going to say, the thing is as well, I even did the actions at one point. I actually just realised I did that. So that's, again, so apologies if I disturbed you, but hopefully it sheds a little bit of insight.
No problem. Thank you very much.
All right,
Take
thanks,
care,
Robert.
Great work with TLO, by the way. You're a legend.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon, man. Later. He's a good guy, Robert is.
Yeah, it seems.
If you never checked out Pro Corner, he's one of my new co-hosts, so check that out, because Robert is really great when it comes to, you know, trying to figure out player regimens and, you know, just plans for players to help them improve in life and in practice.
Man, I'll have to schedule some time on his couch. Maybe he can fix me.
Well, he only deals with players, man.
I'm kind of a player.
So they say.
Anyway, so next week's show, talking about dodgy shit in esports. Chris, we've got a good one, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So next week's show, we're trying to figure out what day to have it, because next Thursday is obviously July 4th, and July 4th for us Americans is a big day. It's a holiday, so I probably will be out doing something with the family too. So trying to figure out if it'll be Wednesday or something like that. So definitely keep track on Twitter as to when that will be. But we're planning on having Ken Silva, who is he's actually president of Esports Canada, and he was formerly admin over at NASL. You guys might have known, or the commissioner at NASL after Zaris left. And he recently joined a company that a lot of people have been talking about lately, which was Stat Drive. And we're going to have him on and kind of talk about the company. You know, a lot of questions have been coming up about the legitimacy of the company, and it kind of all started in the Firefall community. When you guys can probably just go back and look at it in Reddit, but a lot of controversy there. And then recently, it's been kind of coming up in the SC2 community. So we'll have him on, kind of clear some things up, and find out just if this company's is legitimate or not. Really, that's kind of what it comes down to. So check that out. I'm not sure that'll be the full show, so we might have to have somebody else too on. But Ken will definitely be a big part of it. So you two have your questions ready for Ken.
Oh, I'll have questions ready for that one. Don't you worry about that.
I actually don't. I need to. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about it more then. But let's close out the show. John, you want to do some shout outs?
Shout out to all of those that stayed with us after TaKe left, and we realize he's a lot better looking than we are. So I know everyone.
That is for sure. He's a good looking dude.
Look at his hair. I mean, at least he's got cool hair. But I don't know. Just mainly shout out to you guys and our guests and those that called in with penis head icons. Yes. And I think it was great. It was a good show.
Richard.
Yeah, usual. Big shout out to Dennis. He is a great fucking guy. If that was like, it probably isn't. But if there was anyone watching the show who hadn't come across Dennis before or seen him do an interview or anything, it's not bullshit. It's not PR. Like, that is, what you see is what you get with him. He really does mean everything he said. He cares so much about esports passionately, so much so he's just woven his life, his job, his house, everything is just, esports with him. So he's such a cool dude. So support TaKe and everything he does. Support the Homestory Cup next time it's on. I never say this, but I'm just going to say, based on what you said while he was on the show, subscriptions, guys,
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, actually. I agree with you.
Show some fucking love,
You guys, and we've talked about this before. It's such a misconception that these events make money. And he said, I was actually blown away by the amount. $70,000 was invested into making that event happen. And I can guarantee you he didn't get $70,000 in sponsorship. There's just no way.
I didn't get that close to it.
So,
either,
he didn't come close to that. So you guys can do your own math on how much he lost. And regardless of how great we think the streaming is and people want to put all their efforts into media, it's not going to pay back $70,000 for a single weekend event, no matter how many people tune in. So those subscriptions do really help. And that's exactly why Twitch set it up. So we need to support that and help those tournaments that are making good content for you guys to watch.
Or at the very least, for TaKe, turn ad block off. Just at the very least, if you can't afford a subscription, turn ad block off.
See, this is the Richard Lewis I wish would write an article about TaKe.
See, I love this.
But
oh my word! Don't. I'm an asshole.
I told you, this guy is not as much of an asshole in person.
We just need more people tuning into the show, and maybe that should be our poll. Like, hey, want to see Richard talk nice?
You want to see the nice
this
Richard?
Cannot be fixing the Richard. The show cannot become that. But anyway, finishing my shout outs, you rude motherfuckers, right? So, so anyway, support TaKe because he's awesome. All the people who stuck around, you can see how popular we are. Like, especially after that crash, it was like everyone just said, "Fuck you guys," body you guys now. But anyway, you missed awesome stuff, so Yabu sucks to you. So thanks to all the people who stuck around and tuned in. John, great co-host, especially now you've figured out to turn off the air conditioning. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
No worries. And Chris, as always, the man with the plan, the beautiful Chris. I love you. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. My shout outs, just to reiterate what they said, Dennis, I'm really happy to finally have gotten him on here. And like I said before in the show, I can't believe it took me this long to even think about it. That's all it was. It just never crossed my mind to have Dennis on the shows, which is crazy. So I'm glad we finally had him on, and hopefully in the future we'll have him on more. And I really appreciate him sharing, a lot more information than I think a lot of other people would share. Just even given the number 70K, right, is much more than some other folks would do. And support him, support TaKe TV, all the projects he does. He doesn't just do Homestory, guys. There's Homestory Cup right now, and all the TaKe TV, just all the German casts, and he was casting RSL today. Yeah. So support everything he does because he's one of the good guys for sure. Also, big thanks to both of you guys for co-hosting and being great hosts with me each and every week. And we'll continue doing, hopefully, the good work that, at least I consider is good work. We'll continue doing it.
Next
moving
week's
forward.
going to be the big one, brother. I'm really looking forward to that, man. Honestly, I think that's going to be a truly awesome show
Yeah.
with the potential to be explosive.
Explosive.
Yes,
Yeah,
explosive.
you're making
is
it sound
true.
like a round in the bathroom or something, man. But the VODs will be available. Actually, I'm uploading the first part of the VOD already right now. It actually might be available. Go check it out on youtube.com/ChanmanV if you missed the first part with TaKe. And the second part will be uploaded shortly after we're finished here. And I think that's about it, guys. So for ChanmanV, John Clark, and Richard Lewis, we will see you next time.
Thank you.
What?
We will see you next time. Show not.